This poem is one of the first ones I wrote about the Greenwood Massacre, and it's called Doomed to Repeat. And about the 1921 massacre called Riot, my feeling is it is not our failure to remember the past that dooms us to repeat it. It is our failure to believe we're capable of the same acts. Your disbelief blooms in slow motion like smoke smothering the sky, like a death wound under white linen. This telling of history from your too late perspective creates a bubble in my mind that I cannot identify until it bursts in my mouth into incredulous laughter. You say you are shocked by the cruelty, but this is how it has always been for us. Your Tulsa is not my Tulsa. Do you think we have always walked with downcast eyes, heads drooping on our shoulders, and rounded backbones like wilted tulips, speaking in hushed, inoffensive tones so as not to be judged ripe for the noose? This was the lesson our grandmothers taught us, the lesson they learned from their grandfather, from your grandfathers. So now, when you have accepted the riot of the massacre so now that you have accepted the truth of the massacre called Riot, you wonder why I am unimpressed by your outrage at men who were the children of Indian murderers and slave rapists born in a country that debates the worth of a black skin against the worth of a brown skin, against the worth of a red skin, against the worth of a yellow skin, while the scales are weighted in favor of the white skin. And how you cannot believe your own grandfather committed this small act of terrorism when it was his great-grandfather who auctioned black flesh, his grandfather who engineered the Trail of Tears, his father who rushed to claim stolen, promised land. It was your grandfather standing in the back of a pickup truck holding a Molotov cocktail. It was my grandmother hiding in her own house who, a millisecond before she fled the flames of Greenwood, saw the gleeful malice dancing in his eyes as the match flared.
Yes.
Is the world on fire? There was a survivor named Kenny Booker, and he was a little boy at the time of the massacre, and he had a younger sister. And when they were having to leave their house in the middle of the conflagration, his sister would say, she said, "Kenny, is the world on fire?" And that's where this one comes from. Is the world on fire? On an early summer evening, the newspaper announced the lynching. Greenwood gathered in solidarity to defy the mandates that forced them into humiliating acquiescence. On the other side of the tracks, sweating, swearing white men stockpiled arms and munitions, revved ground and air engines, set torches aflame with homicidal intent. The sky was red that night and smudged with smoke. Mirror above to the streets below, awash in blood and flames and ashes. Is the world on fire? I'm awakened by screams of terror and pain, round after round of gunshots, motor cars rumbling down our streets, white men are rioting in Greenwood. In the morning, the whistle blows and they march in. Hundreds, thousands surround us, closing in like a noose. No longer a riot, but a pogrom, sanctioned by city and state, colluding to steal land, intent on wiping us out, silent survivors, burn us to ashes, grind us to dust. 2. Hope never dies, and dust rises, so we rose up. Out of dark basements, pantries and closets, hospitals and internment camps, we rose up, dug through the ashes, rebuilt community. 3. Blight is what they called Greenwood. Bulldozers scraped its insides, bridges and highways cut through, eminent domain completed what the massacre did not. Number 4. Today, interlopers are trotting on the tomb of what was Greenwood to fill their empty souls with wealth. But hope is that tiny ember in the center of ashes, and the soul of Greenwood is breathing. Let us breathe. We are the streets of Greenwood, lined with smoldering charred bricks and wood, bearing the weight of black bodies, a burden heavier to carry than trolleys and automobiles. We echo with extinguished voices, dissipated dreams, last breaths sighed into our pores by transcending spirits, cradle the broken branches of disrupted family trees. We are the streets of Greenwood, sacrosanct, blessed ground, sanctified in blood, declaring this space holy. Release us and let us breathe. You want to dig? This poem is about the Greenwood land theft called gentrification. When we start digging down, you dig in. Dig in your heels, grip tightly to lies, pile on layers of dirt. You want to dig foundations for condos and retail. You want to dig for ballparks and parking lots. Dig this. Digging uncovers graves that hold truths and bones that rattle. We will dig. Dig down to the bones, bones of stolen lives buried under dollars and manufactured numbers. Spirits have been whispering, whispering on the wind, whispering for decades, but bones are not soft. Bones rattle. They rattle and click. Shake loose your lies. Bones are not meant to be silent. Dim bones, don't walk again. Dim bones, don't talk again. You want to dig? Dig this. Nothing stays buried forever.
Amen.
After the highway came through and everybody was forced to move out, and that land laid fallow for a long time. They just raised all of the Greenwood district. And so, but before that happened, my aunt had her beauty shop in the family home there on Lansing. On the corner of Lansing and my mind just went, Oklahoma, was Man Brothers Grocery Store. And then next door to that was Gibbs Market and Meat Market. And next door to that was my aunt's home and beauty shop. And we say in my family, and a lot of people from the South, we don't say aunt. We say aunt when we're talking in general about aunts. But when we're talking about our specific aunts, we say aunt. Aunt Vera's beauty shop on Lansing Avenue in the Greenwood district, post-massacre. Aunt Vera sat on her cushioned throne, twirling the hot curlers, letting go of one handle, spinning the loose side to cool them. To us, the nieces and nephews who played hand jive and jacks, jump rope, and chalk the sidewalks, it was a juggling act, worthy of praise and awe. I was soothed by the sense of tangy bergamot oil and cast-iron soap cut from a block as yellow as Velveeta cheese. I reveled in the sounds of women laughing and talking loudly and freely, black women bonding in the neighborhood once burned to ashes, but no one mentioning the history there. Hot combs smoothing out kinks and curls, straightening crowns and edges and kitchens, straightening out our concept of beauty, straightening the labyrinthian paths of black brilliance and resilience. Those nappy heads hid too much sorrow and salaciousness, too much joy and deliciousness. Those nappy heads had to be straightened out. And this last one is Divine Grace. And this is a picture of the portraits that Adam Carnes did of myself and my Aunt Vera, who was a survivor, and my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, who was also a survivor of the massacre. Aunt Vera was a little girl, and she's the oldest of my mother's siblings. And this is called a triptych, that the 3 pictures I made must always hang together. I own them. Adam gave them to me. Divine grace placed me at the pinnacle of this pyramid, built from trauma and tenacity, sharp bones, deep hollows, and heart of Africa. Imbued me with jazz in my head, rhythm in my fingers, steel in my voice. Gratitude for women rising up.
Yes.